Hi everybody, welcome to Northern Fell Running, and we've got a very special guest for you today. It's his second time here at Northern Fell Running. Please welcome Mr. Ellis Bland. Hi Ellis, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back. I'll be perfectly honest, I actually couldn't even remember when we did the first interview, and then I got tagged on something on social media and I was like, when did I do an interview with these guys? And then I saw it was immediately after the race, and you can just see in the video.
The first time I met Ellis was at the end of the Cheviot Goat, which was last year.
But you're very forgettable anyway, Graham. So I don't.
I am.
No, as soon as I saw it, I remembered it, but it was immediately after I'd finished. And in the video, you can see I'm just like staring off into a tracking screen, trying to work out where everyone else is on the course, and it was good fun. But yeah, no, it's good to be back on.
Yeah. Now, Ellis, as I said, we've got a couple of little surprises for you. So,
okay,
a race that we've all done together is the lap.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and that was my first DNF.
Yeah,
I haven't been running very long, and so what we at now would have been 2021.
Yeah,
me and Lee ran it together.
I finished it that year.
You finished it at DNF.
Came back the next year for him to do it again, for to redeem himself. That's the year you did it.
Which is the?
Did you run it in the? Did you run it in the May in 2021?
Yeah.
21 it was apocalyptic.
Yeah, 21 was the cold one. 22 was.
I know it was because I was there with 22. A few of my watching my mates racing, and I remember thinking I don't want to be out there. Mark Derbyshire got hypothermia, and then managed to get back out. And then he got back out on the course and ended up, I think, finishing like 7th. I've got a funny story about that, but anyway, yeah. All right. So
no, I pulled out halfway with hypothermia.
That race there, do you know how you always see people whinging about mandatory kit for these sort of races and that, saying, well, what do I need what for pants for and that sort of thing? Never again will I ever whinge about mandatory kit after that race.
Yeah,
was
unbelievable. Learning curve on it.
It does my head in hearing people on, and it is always online. It's always on the forums. Why do I need to carry this? And it's like, you know, when we're racing on the fells, it might be a 3-mile race, but we still have to carry full waterproofs. And you hope you never have to discover why you need this kit. But shit, it's so good when you have to get it out and you're safe. And yeah, people look at something like the lap and they think, oh, well, it's running May. Why do I need a spare base layer? And well, if anyone was there in May 2021, I was watching, and I really wish I had a spare base layer. You know, it was
horrible. It was. But we have got a question or two from your friend Davey.
Oh yeah.
So, so I sent him a message, and so this is from Davey. I'll just read what he's wrote. He said he loved the double bob idea and attempt. You were totally thrown under the bus by the weather. A classic. The lakes just said no with an unforecast storm just when you really didn't need it. But question 1, sub 12-hour bob. It has to be in the back of his mind, and he'll hate me for asking.
I mean, that is such a Davey question. No, because who would dare say that? The bob is such a funny one for me. Anyone who knows me knows I have such affection for it, and the bob seems to get dragged through the dirt because it's become very popular. But if you just forget all of the pomp and ceremony of the bob, if you look at the route itself, it's beautiful. If you exclude Fairfield, it's beautiful. It sequences perfectly. everything on it makes sense. You wouldn't add anything on, you wouldn't take anything off. And I ran my first bob when I was 24 years old, and I did it with my mates from uni. I did it in 17 hours, 40 something, and I had about an hour and 20 minutes of breaks, and I had the best day ever. It was chilled, it was lovely, it was relaxed. And then since then, I've had this idea to try and complete every conceivable bob that I can do. So solo, unsupported, clockwise, anti-clockwise. I'd love to get the double done. I'd love to do the winter. And I've always said to my mates and my partner, Rachel, I've always said one day I'll have a go at as quick as I can go. But to say a sub 12, I wouldn't probably even know how quickly I could do one, because that's what I kind of love about the bob, is only on that day would you know how quickly you can go. And, you know, I wonder now if Killian looks back at his bob and wonders, well, why did I have such a wobble on leg 4? You know, why did that happen? But it did happen on the day. So I know Davey wants me to say absolutely, absolutely. I will give it my absolute try, and I would love to put down a serious time on there. You know, there's a lot of the Bland clan on the top 10 times, and I'd love my name to be up there. So I've always said anything in amongst 13 I would be really happy with, but I've seen some really, really, really good runners pull off absolute blinders out of nowhere. So who knows? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. The second question from Davey. He's obviously a big fan of yours.
Quite
like
fan
David
from that question, right?
It says his running gait is stunning. Makes him look like he's just out for a jog while he's in the top 3 of a fell race. It does draw attention to his legs. Question 2, does he shave, veet, or wax?
Oh God, I hate Davey so much. I shave my legs. There is no reason why I do it other than, I'll tell you why. I don't know if I've ever told anyone this. I mean, I think my girlfriend knows. When I was 15, I had my legs waxed for charity at school. I had really hairy legs. And I was on stage and I had a mate next to me, Mark Walsh, and there was some other lad, I can't remember. Anyway, we had our legs waxed because we had the hairiest legs in the year. And as soon as it started growing back, I just had this horrible phobia of it. I hated it. And I've kept it up ever since. There's no reason technically why I do it. I feel much more comfortable with shaven legs, and obviously it seems to draw attention to Davey's eyes. So maybe that's why I do it, is to impress Davey. As for my stunning running gait, I've never heard that before. I drop one of my shoulders so far down that I can basically touch the floor with my hand, and I've always had people asking me to correct it, and my coach is always saying, "Don't try and correct that if it's causing you no jip. Just keep running. Just don't try and correct things that don't need to be corrected." So he's trying to flatter me a bit there whilst trying to embarrass me at the same time. It has worked.
Well, anybody that wants to check out a very good video of Ellis from the race that we're discussing called the Lap, it's actually quite hard to find. And I don't know if you know, Ellis, why it isn't on YouTube, but it's not. And it's called A Good Day at the Office. I can only find it on a video hosting site called Vimeo. I'll try and put a link down below, but it's a very good watch. And it's basically Ellis breaking the record of the lap, which stood at 7 hours. And they capture him getting just under there. So well done for that.
It was a really... I was annoyed at Davey then as well. I spent most of my time annoyed at Davey for one thing or another. I was annoyed at Davey because I've always loved what he built at the lap, and I have so much respect for it. As you heard me talk at the start, you know, it's first and last place, and I'm all for it. And in the January, I had a terrible chest infection, and And I think Davey got in touch with me in about March. I hadn't been running at that point for about 2 months. And he said, Ellis, I need you on this lap. I need you to go under 7 hours. And I mean, I've always struggled battling with my weight and whatnot, and I wasn't feeling too good about myself, but I sort of needed a bit of a rocket up my arse. And I sort of off the cuff said to him, I'll do it for you in 6:59:59, but I said, I ain't going any faster. I said, I'll break your 7 hours. And yeah, I set to work, and he teamed me up with Ben Gerish. If you want to find the video, he's a good guy to speak to because he made it. Ben Gerish, his company's HDDN Media. And we worked together for about 6 weeks. And, you know, when I watch that video back, I hate it because I don't like seeing myself like that because I knew I wasn't in a good headspace. I was quite miserable. I wasn't comfortable with my body. But I owed it to Davey and I owed it to the lap to take that record. And, I mean, time will come off that. I reckon I could take 20-odd minutes off it. But I think what that showed me was there's a lot more to... You know, you don't always have to be in pinnacle fitness. You don't always have to be at top form to have a lot of fun and to basically put yourself through hell and back. And yeah, it's advertised as a beginner's ultra. But my God, it's if you want to make that race hard, you can make it so hard. And I had set to work that day, and yeah, it's a good watch because it's very, very pure, and I don't leave much out on the course. So yeah, it's well worth watching.
It was incredibly hot that day as well because we were back doing that. Yeah, a good day at the office for Graham that year was just him getting round though, which he still went the wrong way a little bit, but he got round in the end.
Lee did really well. You were 22nd, weren't you?
Something like that. I don't know when years, but you were probably washed and changed and back home by the time I got in. Like I think I was 9.5 hours or something like that.
That's good. Anything under 10 on that route is fast. I think it's advertised as a beginner's ultra because he puts the 24-hour cap on it. But
yeah,
you know, it's 47 miles and they're still climbing on it right up until the end. You know, you go up to High Dam right at the very end when you're going in the May direction. And it's never over until it's over. And class race.
I was cursing by the time I got to that part.
Yeah, for sure. I was a tough one for me because I was so far up on the record at about mile 35, maybe 20 minutes off. And I'd always sort of thought, oh, maybe if I have a good day, I'll run a 6:45. And then by the time I got to Gummers, which is about 9 miles to go, probably, someone will correct me in the comments, I suddenly was down with like 2 minutes up on the record. And I thought, God, I've lost 12 minutes messing around in these woods and slipping around in these bogs. And so those last 9 miles for me were about as fast as I'd dare run that deep into a race. It was quite a long sprint finish. So yeah, it was really good.
Well, Ellis, I'm really sorry to cut this short, but we only have 2 minutes left of the video. So thank you very much for doing this.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. Thanks so much, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. It's class, and good luck going back here.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
See you later.
Thank you, Ellis.
See you guys.
All the best.